Hello, everyone. Welcome to another stream. How we doing? How's your day going? Let me know in the chat, please. We're having a bit of fun. Woohoo! Welcome. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Woohoo! How good. I seem so jolly. I am jolly today. You want to know why, Jim? Because Steven Moffat's back. After 40 years. My goodness gracious me. Hello. This is my first stream of yours. Okay, welcome everyone. At the start, we like to, wait for everyone to get into the chat, and then we can get things underway. Here we go, big comment here. Hi Crispy, been a fan of your content for years. Now I'm super keen to catch one of your streams live. How crazy was it in that your psychic Vig that Ruby was predicted to die and she nearly died in episode 3. Yeah, look, I'll turn the music off because it's getting annoying. Okay. Hello everyone. Hi. So, we're just going to wait for people to get in for the next, few minutes. But if this is your first stream, welcome. It's very off the cuff. I'm very nervous once again. But it's going to be a lot of fun. If you watched my latest video on the Crispy Pro channel, I got a psychic to predict what would happen in Series 1. And one of his big main predictions was that Ruby was going to die. And as we saw in this episode, boom, it looked like for a second that Ruby was going to die. I don't know if she actually did die, but it looked like she was going to. So if you haven't checked that out, check that out after this stream. But everyone, hello, welcome. How many people have we got? We have exactly 100 people. My goodness gracious me. Welcome all 100 of you. So today we are talking about the glorious episode. Here we go, you ready? I've got a button now that I can press to change the scenes. Here we go. We're talking about Boom today. Written by Steven Moffat, the previous showrunner of Doctor Who and my all-time favorite Doctor Who writer. I was absolutely shocked when they announced that he was coming to, be a part of this new series, this new era. And it looks like he's quite involved in this new era because I think he's writing the Christmas special as well. And so maybe we can hope for, more Moffat episodes in the future, especially if Russell T Davies is showrunner, because those two, they're best friends. Imagine your best friend being the Doctor Who showrunner and you two were the Doctor Who showrunner. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. And it seems like Chibnall's close with them too, so that's also very nice. But hello everyone. What have we got here? Draw with Cameron Smith says you can put Verita's see-through appearance on your bingo card. Did I? Yes, so I think Cameron's referring to my podcast, Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast. We did a season 1 bingo card, and I think I might have put that Verita shows up early, and we'll get into that. We'll get into that today because that shook me to my core. But we'll definitely get that. Who let you have a button? Never push the button. Look, if Space Babies is anything to go off of, I have to push the button. Okay? Just like the Sugar Babes told me to. Boom is more tier B+. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you my final ranking, because I don't think people know exactly what I think about this episode. And that's why you're here. That's why we're talking, okay? So let's begin. Boom is the third episode in Season 1/Series 14 of Doctor Who, written by Steven Moffat and directed by Julie Ann Robinson. It sees the Doctor step on a landmine, and that's the whole premise. And look, it's a very simple premise, but a man that is good with simple but clever premises is Steven Moffat, and I think he really, really delivered with this one. Let's have a look, shall we? There he is. There's Mr. Moffat. I threw that in there as a visual representation of the fact that Steven Moffat wrote this episode. And also, before we get into it, I found this video. Someone pointed this out on Twitter, and I thought it was so funny. that Steven Moffat basically spoils his own episode titles in this interview months before. Yeah, this is at least 2 months before. Oh, you can't see it on the stream. This is at least 2 months before it was announced that he's returning. So have a listen to this. I hope you can hear it. Here we go.
My aging face. How could I fit in? And I know, because I've seen the feedback, that people think I'm being evasive on the subject. The truth is, if I say anything negative about Doctor Who, it goes everywhere. Like, boom, everywhere, right? Doesn't exactly bring joy to the world that I just say something.
Did you guys catch that? Did you guys catch that at all?
It goes everywhere. Like, boom, everywhere, right? Doesn't exactly bring joy to the world.
So, he obviously wrote the episode that we all saw yesterday. Boom, which he just said there. And the Christmas special is rumoured, if not confirmed, to be called Joy to the World. The man's so sneaky. That's one thing I miss about his era. Stephen Moffat is so sneaky. I mean, Russell the Tease Davies is very good at the tease. But, like, Moffat, he leaves his own real-life Easter eggs. He's a madman. He's an absolute Oh, you can't hear the video? Really? Oh, well, anyway, he says boom and joy to the world. Okay? Anyway, let's get into the episode. The first thing I very much enjoyed, the first thing that took me by surprise, was the set design of this place. The initial base where everyone is for this war. It looks so unbelievably good, and I just watched then in the clip from Unleashed that this is just the backlot of the Bad Wolf Studios, and I think that wall there is actually like the real wall from the studio, and they managed to make it look like, you know, it was this big warehouse. That I just thought it looked incredible. I think there's a better shot here. Yeah, look at that. That's right there is the normal studio bit, and then right here is all the stuff that you see in camera. It was so cleverly done. And man, you can really see that the Disney money has been poured into this and that they are treating it like they should. Like, this episode looked epic, and I think it's probably one of the best looking episodes that we've had, okay? Oh, hello. Oh, what's this? Someone donated? Thank you so much. Hey, Crispy, did you notice any one-handed writing? Oh, right, okay. Well, that's a little joke from the podcast. No. So I think you're referring to were there any maybe dirty jokes, because Moffat's not opposed to a dirty joke here and there, as we know from being Doctor Who fans. There was a slight clever use of a joke right at the start with the tattoo thing with the what was her name? Mundy, the companion but not companion, where it's like, oh, I'll show you a tattoo. I did it in like a quirky place. But it ended up being a tattoo on someone else. That's a clever joke. Moffat's very good at the misdirection. So, yeah, look, Moffat, he's a dirty writer, but this one was a pretty straightforward, pretty clean episode. If anything, the Moffat-isms in this episode were, like, there were so many quotable moments, and there were moments of genuine shock. And I don't know, I was compelled. I was very, very compelled with the story. Let's continue, shall we? Let's continue. Here we go. We start off with these two soldiers, one of whom has sustained an injury that has left him temporarily blind. Not so good. Not a good thing. I don't know if anyone else thought this at the start, but I thought that he was going to have some kind of powers, some kind of sight. I don't know, I don't know. I thought that the blind guy was going to have some kind of powers, but no, he was just injured. And then we had the ambulance things, which I have a shot of here. Horrifying, by the way. Really cool concept. And then they find the ambulance and they're like, oh, you know, your recovery time will be about 4 weeks. That's not good enough for us. You have to die. You have to die. It was terrifying. And I was like, what? An ambulance killing everyone? What's all that about? And I thought that was shocking, but something that was more shocking, the most shocking to me, and I had to do a bit of a double take, was the inclusion of Verada Sethu, the brand new companion for Doctor Who, appearing in the third episode of the season 1, the season before she's supposed to be in the TARDIS. That's mental. That's crazy. And I think the BBC released a statement. I don't have it here, but they said, hey, it was really cool having, like, you guys were able to meet Mundy, but she is not. That's her story done. That's Mundy's story done, and you'll see Verada again in the next season. So I think we might have like a Gwen Cooper situation, a Martha Jones appearing in the series 2 finale before she's in series 3. It might have just been a case of they were so impressed by her performance. I thought her performance was fantastic tonight. I really wish they kind of spent more time with her character, if I'm honest. But I think it might have just been a case of, we were really impressed by this performance. She came in for the audition for the next companion, and we're like, yeah, that's fantastic. But while I'm here, we have the power of live television, what did you guys think of Verita Sethu's performance in this? Did you want to see more? Are you excited to see what she does in Doctor Who's future? Let me know. We have someone here that says the loyal companion. Oh, that's nice. Wasn't she in Andor? Yes, I believe she was. I haven't gotten past the second episode of Andor yet. I always go to watch it and then get very, very lazy. But I believe that is what she's probably most known for prior to her Doctor Who work. I did have a look at her IMDb and I didn't recognize too much stuff, but yeah. Here we go. She was amazing. I'm glad you very much enjoyed. Remember Clara? Yes, that is exactly what I thought of when this happened. But I don't know if it's that kind of situation, if it's going to tie into the narrative. It might. Has Russell or anyone said that it's going to actually tie in to the narrative? Because I think it might just be a fact that they were so impressed with her performance. But this was filmed very early 2023, I think. So they've had this lockdown for ages. So they would have known well prior to this being released that she was the new companion. So maybe they worked it in. I'm not sure. I thought she was good, better than she was in Andor. Oh, okay, well that's high praise then. The Monday Sunday line was brilliant. Yes, that was very funny. I wonder if I have that somewhere. Do I have that? There we go. I thought it was funny. That made me laugh. But I get the feeling that Moffat just named this character that purely for that punchline. I don't think the name Mundy will come back. It might. I don't know I don't think it'll be her name. Here we go. Someone's telling me. In the Doctor Who behind the scenes of the episode, in the corner of the set of the crater the Doctor was stuck in there was a white dome, and it turned out to be the same pod used by Beep the Meep in the Star Beast. Are you telling me that's where Beep the Meep ended up? Or maybe it was Beep the Meep. Beep the Meep tried to escape in the Star Beast. So I don't think... Maybe there's just a Meep kind out there, even though Beep was supposed to be the last one. Anyway, we're getting distracted. Watch Andor, Crispy. Get on with it. Oh, look, don't tell me what to do, RH1812. Gosh. Shooty is slowly coming into his own. Yes, we'll talk about Shooty in a second, but spoiler alert, I was bloody impressed. Mundy's story is over. Is absolutely over. Freeman and Karen or Oswin and Clara? Oh. Well, that's an interesting question, the way you phrased it like that. I don't know. I find it interesting the fact that they all appear prior to their debut. It's a strange trope that Doctor Who seems to have. Unless it's some kind of self-referential thing, I'm not sure. I think her character will just be an ancestor of Monday. Okay, we'll see. Oh, another donation. Thank you. I love how the Doctor diffused the situation. Quite literally. That is a pun in of itself. Shooty was so good in the episode. Absolutely. What about Miss Flood? We didn't see Miss Flood this episode. Not much has happened with Miss Flood, if we're honest. We haven't seen her at all. Ruby hasn't gone back home yet. I'd be intrigued to see what happens when she goes back home. But someone we did see was this ambulance lady. And I thought it was a terrifying... this pretty much is the villain of the episode. I mean, I guess you could say humanity was and AI. That was the one bit that kind of lost me a little bit. I kind of wish we explored a little bit more about what the warfare was. I've only seen the episode the once, and I must admit, I was a little bit hungover today. I only watched it today because I had a massive busy day yesterday. So I've only seen it the once, and I watched it a little bit hungover. So I think I needed a bit more brain power to understand the warfare. From my understanding, they were sent to this barren planet. They got all of the weapons and arms deals from, I can't remember what the company was, but they used advanced AI, and the ambulance was there to kind of keep a consistent body toll, a death toll. So but it looked like, statistic wise, that this warfare was going on and there were casualties, but actually it was just the algorithm. That was my takeaway. I just kind of wish we delved deeper into that, because I think that's a really, really cool concept. But I understand that the focus of this episode was, of course, the Doctor. But we'll get into that in a second, because I want to make a point about this. The ambulance lady, I was like, oh, what? We didn't get any Susan Twist this week. It seemed pretty consistent for the past 4 Ncuti Gatwa adventures. But it was, in fact, Susan Twist. So there we go. And the actress's name is Susan Twist. Let's make that very clear. Everyone thinks that a character's name is Susan Twist. It's the actress. It's the actress, okay? Oh my gosh, I'm glad that Jane in the chat also watched the episode hungover. Okay. Saturday nights were pretty fun in the Crispy Pro household. I think Susan Twist is the master. Everyone thinks everyone's the master. I don't know when the master's going to appear. I think Russell said that the master is parked, but I don't know. I'm more inclined to believe Russell than Moffat, if I'm honest. You know, Moffat would say something during his tenure as showrunner. You'd be like, okay, and then he 180s it. He would lie all the time. Well, he never lied. He never actually lied about coming back to the show. If you go back and watch all of the interviews where people are like, oh, you're going to come back to the show, he would always go on some kind of tangent or kind of hint at the idea of him not returning, but never actually explicitly say, no, I'm not returning to Doctor Who. He would always say, oh, don't you think I'm too old to be Doctor Who? Or he's like, oh, I only just left. But he never said no, which I think is crazy. He's an absolute madman. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's talk about it, okay? Let's talk about this king. Let's talk about this absolute beast of an actor that is Ncuti Gatwa. I think this might be the quickest. I've been kind of convinced that Ncuti Gatwa, or that this actor, was born to play the Doctor. Genuinely. I only started with Matt Smith, I must admit. And it took me, a few episodes to warm up to Peter Capaldi. It took me a few episodes to warm up to Jodie Whittaker. Fell in love with all of them. But with Ncuti Gatwa, there's something special. There is something really, really special about Ncuti Gatwa. I think we kind of got the more fun, light side with a few darker moments in his first 3 outings. But in Boom, we strip away, like the whole purpose of this episode, Moffat said, was to strip away the one thing the Doctor does a lot, which is run. And the Doctor is a very physical character. They are, they're always buzzing. They're kind of like, you can't take your eyes off them. But with this, you strip all that away and it makes it purely a character piece. It makes it a purely dialogue-heavy episode, which is a risk, because this episode could have been so dull and so boring, but if anything, it was just 45 minutes of pure suspense. And I adored that. And Ncuti just brought the house down. It could have been a really, really boring episode, don't you think? The Doctor's stuck in one spot in a barren wasteland that looked fantastic, by the way. Looked at, like, the set designs. Shout out to all of them. Shout out to everyone that worked on this episode. I was so impressed with what they were able to do. Let's get a better look. Look at that. That's so cool. That is so cool. Oh gosh, we have so many messages. This was Ncuti's defining "I am the Doctor" moment, hands down. Look, if you encompass it as an episode, yeah, this is a pretty good pitch to be like, you don't think Ncuti Gatwa was a good Doctor? Go and watch Boom. I'm just waiting for the one scene or like the one speech where I'm like, oh my gosh, that's it. I thought we were going to get a big speech in this episode. We kind of do at the end, a really nice send-off about kind of, how the Doctor feels, the Doctor's morals. There was a really nice line where, here we go, where there was, what was he saying? He was like, snow isn't snow until it falls. It's so Moffat. Moffat's just full of these cute little quotes, Tumblr doesn't exist since he left Doctor Who. Man was making like the best quotes. You could have that on a welcome rug. All right. Hey, baby, hit us with the Boom Boom Pow. You want Boom Boom Pow? I was going to make a parody song of Boom Boom Pow today, but I didn't. But I can try and find like a hip hoppy beat, and we can rap some kind of Boom Boom Pow. Is there a rap? Is there a rap? Anything? Galactic rap. Let's see if we can. Can you guys hear this song? Yeah. You guys hear that? Okay. Yep. Shooty got that boom boom pow. He's on a landmine now. Oh, he's in trouble. And Ruby actually died, but then she came back to life, and there was a surprise companion. Verita Sethu, what are you doing here? You're a season early. Get out of here. I don't want you here. But I do because you were great, but you'll be great later. See you later. Okay, this is cringe. Let's go back to our Doctor Who binge. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Okay, that was a royalty-free beat. Because I'm not getting sued again. I'm just not. I'm not getting sued. Thank you, King. Aiden Green, you are so welcome. And if anyone hasn't subscribed to the 50% Doctor Who podcast, what are you doing? Like, actually, what are you doing? I'm serious. I'm full serious. They're fun. Okay. All right. Let's go back to this king of an actor, Ncuti Gatwa. I've only seen it the once, but there were some really, really good lines. What he didn't say. Did he say like that's what you get or something? I don't know. There were a few deliveries in this episode where I was like, oh my gosh, this man is so good. And the entire exchange where they handed over the dead person in a can with Millie Gibson, who was also great, but kind of sidelined this episode, which is understandable because the Doctor's the one that does pretty much all the talking this episode. But there was a fantastic exchange between Ruby and the Doctor, and that whole thing, it felt very Sherlock because the Doctor kind of calculated the exact right amount that he needed. It just felt so nostalgic, really. It's Steven Moffat. He's back. I want him to write at least one every year. Please. Yes, that's what it is. Do you get it? I gotta get that boom boom pow, baby. That's what you get. Get. Oh, that's right. Him singing the Sky Boat song right after the title sequence is one of my favorite parts of the episode. Ncuti has a great voice. Ncuti has a fantastic voice. I thought it was maybe like a pre-recorded song, but that's actually Ncuti's voice. We don't deserve Ncuti, if I'm honest. We really don't. He's an absolute gem and an absolute steal for the show. Please stay for at least 3 seasons. Please, that's all I ask. Or more. Do what you want. Thomas Scott reckons that this was his best episode so far. What do I reckon? Well, you're going to have to stick around to the end to see my tier list ranking. Okay, can we do that? Here was the exchange. This was a fantastic scene. Do I have it later? I don't think I do. Okay, let's talk about it. I mentioned this before, but in my season 1 prediction video that just came out, and I mean an actual prediction from a psychic video, they predicted that Ruby Sunday would die. And I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty wishful thinking. We've already seen like her filming the next season, so she's most likely going to live. But that was one of the best. That was probably a highlight for me, was that scene. Not just because I don't want to sound like, oh, it was awesome seeing a companion die. No, it was how they kind of set that up. How Millie was going to shoot Mundy to kind of set off the combat thing, put it on a really low setting, and then the man that really loved Mundy saw, a gun pointed at the woman that he loves and was like, oh my gosh. But that's so well done. I like when actions have motive. I love when actions have motives. Sometimes things just happen. You know, it very easily could have just been, you know, Ruby gets caught in some kind of crossfire and you're like, oh, okay, unlucky. But this one was so justified and you can almost understand what, like, you can exactly understand why that happened. I just thought it was really well done, and that was the OMG moment for me this week, surprisingly. And there were so many OMG moments. I can't even. Here we go. Crispy, Ruby felt very Clara in this because she sort of took control of the situation to help defend the Doctor. Yeah, okay, that's true. That is very true. And I think, look, Millie and Jenna are kind of very similar performers, I guess. I don't know how to. There's like a bubbly confidence about both of them. But I thought, yeah, but everything was justified in this as well because the Doctor was like, you need to throw it to me. You need to throw that canister to me so that I can, you know, balance out the weight of this. But Ruby was like, well, if I hand it to you, then that's going to be easier and there's less room for error of you. But then the Doctor was like, well, if you're that close and something goes wrong, we're both dead. So they were both being considerate to one another. And look, it's just really well done. It's just really well done, okay? What can I say? Except, you're welcome. That's Stephen Moffat. And here I saw a great tweet just before starting here from Agador. And they said, another thing I love about Boom is the seamless incorporation of Moffat's past world building. The Villengard weapons factory and the Anglican Marines, part of the Papal mainframe lore, are both integral to the plot. Also a pleasing nod to a previously hinted at unseen adventure. I love it. Moffat's been out for ages, and yet he's still building his own little world. So, I don't know if you can read this. You might need to zoom in on your monitors. I can probably try here, but I don't want to mess up the stream. But this screenshot here is from Empty Child Dr. Dances, and they mention the weapons factories on Villengard. That's exactly what this episode's about. And of course, you saw the Anglican Marines, you know, Mundi Varasethu was one. And then there was the bit where the Doctor mentions stealing the moon and the president's wife, which is an ongoing bit that kind of happens throughout Moffat's tenure. I just think, oh, it's so satisfying. And these little nods are really satisfying as a Doctor Who fan, but for the casual viewer, we'll go right over the head, but it's not like two in your face, I guess. I just love it. Plus the AI for the dead, a la library. Oh my gosh. Man looked at all of his best hits and were like, okay, we're going to cook something here. I've got the ingredients from my previous work. Let's cook another fantastic script. It's like for one adventure, the Doctor was suddenly possessed by the spirit of Moffat. It's true. Does this episode fit in with the RTD aesthetic? Yeah and no. It's probably the episode that takes itself the most seriously thus far, and I enjoy that. I just look, Moffat's really clever with his scripts, and I thought there were some genuinely clever moments. But Russell is like very good at more of your loud, ridiculous moments out there. But he's so good at the family dynamic and the characters. I think like Russell really excels at the characters. But in terms of scripts, Moffat is probably a better script writer, but I think someone put it really nicely, was that Moffat's better at writing episodes, but RTD's a better showrunner. Let me know what you think about that. Like Russell T Davies is better at building the world, and Moffat's better at the actual stories themselves. I think it's an interesting observation. Is it true? Up to you. All right. You what a companion to take control sometimes. Otherwise, what's the point of them being there just to look scared and worried? That's true. That is absolutely true. They're the role of the companion, first and foremost, in like a real world show writing setting, is to kind of be the eyes of the viewer and ask the questions that you yourself would be asking in that situation. But another good thing, and probably a nice thing to have on Millie's fourth adventure, I guess. Well, fourth one that we've seen, because apparently they've been doing this for 6 months. What's up with that, Devil's Cord? Anyway, It's nice to see that the relationship forming between Millie and the Doctor, well, Ruby and the Doctor, I should say. I'm sure, like, these guys are best friends in real life. I have no doubt about that. But yeah, I like the independence. I think it's going to be good, and I just hope that they don't, you know, go too far with like how Clara kind of was, how she kind of became the Doctor. Like, we've seen that storyline. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that there is going to be a lot of trust issues between the two, because I have a really big suspicion that the Doctor knows who Ruby's mum is. And there was that like awesome bit in this episode where the ambulance lady was kind of like, next of kin, who's your next of kin to Ruby Sunday? And she was like, I don't know. That's the whole focus of this series. You know, it's kind of the through line, and I'm loving how that's playing out. I really am. I really, really am. Hey, Crispy, where would you rank Boom in all of his episodes under RTD? In all his episodes? As in, like, Moffat's episodes under RTD? Oh, gosh, man. That's tough. I think that Silence in the Library probably might be my favorite one that he's done in RTD. I think. Oh, but well, Blink's unreal, but that's kind of like an outlier because it's so good. Oh, look, dude, I don't know. They're all really ridiculously good and such a fun watch. Hello, I'm from Glasgow. Hello, Jamie's World. I'm from Australia. Nice to have you in the chat with us this evening. Very, very much excited to have you. We are still confused by the first New World. If they've been traveling for 6 months, unless they've moved the order. That's, okay, here's a really good point. I suspect that the Devil's Cord was supposed to be somewhere later in the season. Maybe they thought it would have been way too jarring if we had space babies and then Boom after each other. Don't you think that would have been an insane turnaround? But, I mean, realistically, you probably could have had those two episodes one after the other, and there wouldn't be any real difference. Maybe it would have seen that Ruby Sunday was kind of too independent straight away. I don't know. She's been pretty independent from the get-go, if I'm honest, which is a good thing. So, yeah, I don't know. The 6-month thing is weird. It's strange. It's very, very strange. Okay. Here we go. This was a funny bit. We've established that. And here's something I think they're hinting at. There's so many plot threads throughout this season 1. Like, there's a ridiculous amount. We've got Miss Flood, Susan Twist. We've got who's Ruby's parents. There's something wrong with the TARDIS. But then there's also these hints talking about the Doctor being a dad. You know? What's going on here? Is Ruby the Doctor's daughter? And not to be confused with Georgia Moffat? Well, Georgia Tennant, I should say, not Georgia Moffat. There's too much Moffat on my brain. Moffat was George's previous name. Anyway, that's a joke for die-hard Doctor Who fans. What am I saying? I just find it funny that in 2 episodes we've had mentions of the Doctor's children and grandchildren being out there. You know? I did have is interesting wording. The Doctor's lost children? Who knows? I think it's Susan. She's coming back. As we said, I think we might have said this last stream, it would have been like a really missed opportunity to not have Carol Ann Ford come back into Doctor Who, because she's alive and well and probably would be willing to do it. She attended the 60th premiere back in the day. It was last year. And I think, you know, having her back in season 1 of the, like, you know, new era of Doctor Who would be a really, really nice thing. So, look, there's all these rumors out there that Ruby's kind of like a regenerated Susan or something like that, or even Verita Sathu's the new Susan. Something Susan has to happen, okay? There's just no doubt about it. There's no doubt in my mind. So the day is saved, but very, very cleverly. Everything is justified, which I like. You know, there was that guy that kept on going, kiss, 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 kiss. And I thought they were going to have some kind of reference to Kiss, Kiss, Bang, Bang, because it's boom, kiss, kiss, boom, boom. I don't know. Boom, boom, pow. But yeah, the day is saved, la-di-da, and then of course we get a fish fingers and custard line, and this was a little love letter that Moffat wrote for himself, for his time on Doctor Who, considering that the 11th hour was what? 14 years ago, which is ridiculous. I wasn't even a Doctor Who fan when this episode aired. It was the year that I started watching. I was only a few episodes after this with James Corden. That was my first episode. But look, having that in there, it was nostalgia. It was cheap. It was a cheap shot, but damn it, Moffat, you got me. You got me, bro. And I appreciate all of your hard work. And we got this awesome shot at the end here. They've obviously got some budget in Doctor Who now, which is nice. But it's still got that charm. Like, they had the whole virtual set thing for this. I don't think this is a virtual shot. I think this is actually green screen. But they had the whole virtual set for the battlefield while they were in the crater. And I think that looks so good. I think that looks so good. My goodness gracious me. Oh, wow, everyone's going in on Susan Twist. Susan Twist could be the great intelligence, but corrupting Susan? What? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. You've been watching since Pertwee? My goodness. Yeah, everyone let me know in the chat how long you've been watching Doctor Who for. What was your first episode? I'd be very, very curious to know. And also, while you're at it, let me know your thoughts for Boom. I'll give my overall thoughts now on Boom. I think that Boom was a very, very nice surprise. And I can't even say that I was that surprised. It's Steven Moffat, a former showrunner who has a proven track record. I find it so funny because it feels like just yesterday, so many people were complaining about Moffat. So many people were up in arms, like demanding that Moffat leave and praising that we get a new showrunner in. And now it's gone full circle, where we have Russell T Davies back at the helm, and we have Moffat writing occasional one-offs perhaps, and they are some of his best work. I was really, really impressed with this episode. It was a simple premise, dialogue heavy, with some phenomenal performances from Millie Gibson, but more so Ncuti Gatwa absolutely shines this episode. Absolutely shines. And, you know, I'm completely sold in his Doctor. There's no doubt about it now. There's no doubt about it. So I will give Boom... Look, it's going to be very generous. Maybe a 9? Maybe a 9? Are we going there? After rewatch, I'll probably give it a 10, but I think I just need to understand more of the conflict, more of the AI, more of the weapons dealing and all of that. But yeah, it was fantastic. Oh, wow. All right. And now we're going to look at everyone's first episodes. Here we go. Your first episode was Rosa. Wow. Heavy stuff. Your first episode was Boomtown. Congratulations. Boomtown. I was too young to remember what my actual first episode was, but it was something Eccleston. Well, you've been watching for a while, my friend. Smith and Jones, the straw scene terrified me. It's gross. It's pretty gross, especially, I think she, like, you know, goes like that with her mouth afterwards, after she's, you know, sucked all the blood with a straw. It's gross. It's gross, dude. So technically my first episode was Full Circle Part 2 on DVD when I was watching, when I was like 4, but in 2010 I started watching in Smith's era. Very good. One of Hartnell's, Paul, longtime fan. Thank you very much for being here on the stream with all of us bloody New Who nerds. I'm getting into classic Doctor Who as well, everyone. I've got some videos up. Don't even worry about it. Your first episode was An Unearthly Child during the ABC rerun of the classics around 2002, 2003. Good for you. That is awesome that you can genuinely say that your first episode was An Unearthly Child and it was during a rerun. That's so funny. You could trick people by saying, wow, yeah, my first episode was An Unearthly Child, and they won't question it. And you're not lying. My first episode was Idiot's Lantern. That's a rough one. That's a rough one. Oh my gosh, everyone had so... Mummy on the Orient Express? Good for you. Your first episode was Dalek? That's Sarah Jane Slevine app? I think that might be the... I think that might be the Sarah Jane Adventures that you watched first. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for sharing your stories with me. I'm glad to see that we have a mix of people in the chat today. That's very, very reassuring for me. So, here is my ranking my tier list ranking for all of the episodes in season 1 so far. And I'm very, very curious to see if you guys would agree with me. You might not. It might be controversial, my friends. But let's have a look, shall we? Okay, 3, 2, 1. That's where I'm ranking these ones in season 1 so far, okay? Down the bottom. Not in D tier just yet. Okay. C tier. It's a passable episode, but one of my least favorite series openers ever was Space Babies. I thoroughly enjoyed The Devil's Court. I just kind of wish they worked the musical number in a bit more. They could have worked it into the plot as to how they defeat Maestro. And there are a few other flaws in that episode, so I didn't quite put it in A tier, but my goodness, did I have fun. But I'm going to put Boom in S, okay? It exceeded my expectations, and I had high expectations for this episode, genuinely. If this episode was a flop, a Steven Moffat flop, which doesn't happen all that often, I would have been really disappointed, and my, faith in this new season probably would have been a little bit hurt. But my goodness, I'm having fun with this season, I'll be honest. And next week looks fantastic, and we'll get into next week later. A lot of people asking for Church on Ruby Road. I'd probably put it in A. I think I enjoyed Church on Ruby Road more than these two. Or maybe I'd put Church on Ruby Road in B as well. I'm not sure. There we go. Smack agrees with me. Space Babies sucked, not gonna lie. Thank you for being so honest with me, dude. Boom is an instant classic. Amen. I hope it's remembered. I really hope it's remembered for years to come. It deserves to be. It really does. Here we go. Moffat. He's the GOAT. I also wanted there to be a few more musical elements to Devil's Court. I thought it was going to be a full-on musical episode. I thought that Maestro was going to kind of control everyone with music. Like, maybe, can you imagine the story of Devil's Court being like this Maestro kind of wanting everything to be perfect, like it is in all the musicals, or like everyone just bursts out into song? Can you imagine like the Doctor and like, dancing like this, but they don't want to be dancing, and they're like trying to hold themselves back? They're like, oh gosh, someone stop, help, please, someone help. I think, look, they could have done so much with a musical premise, and it was a Beatles episode too, but the Beatles weren't utilized either, so I don't know. Someone just said Shrek 4. Okay, cool, dude. Cool. Am I excited for 73 yards? Yeah, let's talk about it, shall we? Let's absolutely talk about it. Boom. Bloody boom. Let's hope that the BBC don't copyright me again, because that would be really sad. But next time, 73 yards, we're talking about Welsh folklore and stuff. It's a horror, which I'm excited about, because this is Russell T Davies once again, and Space Babies, a lot of fun, very lighthearted. Devil's Court, a lot of fun, very lighthearted. I think this one, Russell is going to take himself a bit more serious, which I'm all for, and this episode will give kids nightmares, which I'm also all for. So let's see what we've got. We've got this beautiful location shooting with Shooty looks like he's doing an Amy Pond Series 7 cosplay here from Angels Take Manhattan, which I think is very funny. But I mean, look, it looks glorious. I remember ages ago when they were filming this, they had some filming pictures leaked, and everyone was so unsure if this was Shooty or not, because at that time we thought that the orange outfit was going to be like the only Doctor outfit that he wore. And then we had this, and some people might have thought, oh, it's just something he's going to wear in between takes. But no, it's an official Doctor outfit, and maybe you'll get a collectible figurine one day. We'll see. Who's she? Yeah, this is cool. Have you guys seen the movie It Follows? If you're, young, don't watch that. But if you are into horror movies, I'd recommend It Follows, but it's terrifying. So is the premise that I don't want to know, if you guys know the folklore, I've read the synopsis and stuff, don't tell me. I'm just spitballing here. But I feel like 73 yards is the distance between the two. I use meters here in Australia, so I don't know how long a yard is. Anyway, I don't want to sound dumb on the stream, so let's not go there. Where's the Doctor? It's going to be a Dr. Light episode. That's terrifying. Look at that shot. That's so scary. Can you imagine if she just jumped out at me? Anyway, there's this woman following me, and then we go to the bar, I think. It's a rainy day. Everyone looks right at Ruby. We've got a lot of close-up Dutch angles. It's going to be a creepy episode, and I'm all here for it. I'm all here for it. Here we go. We've got Cyber Natasha saying that they're a wimp and they're really bad with horror. Look, I don't think it'll be that scary. I think it's going to be a really, really creepy episode. There's a difference between scary and creepy. There might, like, if you are under the age of 5, you know, you'd probably be hiding behind the couch for this one. But I think you'll survive Cyber Natasha, especially considering you're a cyber person. So, there we go. Yeah, that's not a bad ranking. Not a bad ranking. Here we go. I'm excited for 73 yards, but the previous shots with the weird angles are giving me Idiot's Lantern vibes, which I'm not a fan of. Look, I think the problem with the Idiot's Lantern, unless you specifically have a problem with those angles, was just it wasn't the strongest script. And it was a rewrite. I found this out the other day. It was a rewrite of a different Mark Gatiss script that sounded much stronger. I can't remember what the premise was. Oh, no, it was going to be something to do with World War II. And then that eventually turned into his Series 5 script, Victory of the Daleks. It's so interesting seeing the writer's process with these. But yeah, Idiot's Lantern, not the strongest episode. And I think that the Dutch angles and everything would have been more of a director's choice than Mark Gatiss's. But look, in Russell we trust. I think he's going to deliver something creepy. He's said multiple times in Doctor Who magazine and in interviews and stuff that episode 4 is one of the episodes he's most proud of. And I'm really, really keen to see why he's so proud of it. He said that he rewatches this one quite a bit. So I'm keen. I'm very, very keen. I'm looking forward to a Dr. Light episode. I wish we'd seen Gatwa more powerful than hiding, but it'll really establish Ruby beyond the mystery snowbox. That's true. That was one of my concerns I mentioned last week, that, you know, it's going to kind of feel like a Clara Series 7 Part B type of character, because the interesting is almost more, the mystery is the word I'm looking for. The mystery is almost more interesting than the companion. But I think that this one's going to kind of sell Millie Gibson, which will be good. I'm just really keen. It's been ages since we've had a Dr. Light episode. You could kind of argue that Flatline was Dr. Light-ish. Kind of, not really. The Doctor's still very much present in that episode, but it's more companion-led. But this one seems like the Doctor's out of there. But we don't know. Trailers are very good at hiding things, as we know. Oh my gosh, another donation. Hello. Thank you, Doctor Who Mania. Hey, Crispy, have you heard of the Third Doctor era rumor for the finale? And if so, what are your predictions? I haven't. And I'll be honest here, and thank you so much for your donation. That's unreal, and I really appreciate it. Any money that you guys send on the streams are fully, it goes back into the channel. Everything will go back into the channel, so thank you for that. But no, I haven't. I've heard that, like, it's a unit story, and I know that the Third Doctor's era was very unit heavy, but I don't want to know. I don't want to know things yet. So thank you for being vague enough for me. But I don't want to know just yet. I don't want to know. Thank you. Did you see that Snow Isn't Snow Till It Falls was meant to be in A Christmas Carol originally, as Moffat said it was cut in the COVID watch? Oh, what? That's so cool. No, I didn't see that. Oh, you guys are so good. Thank you, Mr. Scarlo. Wow. He got there. The long way round. My goodness gracious me. My goodness gracious me. But while we're here, what are your predictions? What are your hopes, I should say? Not predictions, don't spoil the episode for me. But what are your hopes for 73 yards? I'm hoping for something really, really creepy. I want to be like, I reckon for the general public, I think I'm going to recommend maybe they start with Boom. Watch The Church on Ruby Road to kind of get a feel, and then go Boom. And if this episode's a home run, maybe Russell's best script of the season so far, then I'll be like, just watch from Boom. Just watch from Boom, see what happens, and then go back and watch Space Babies and Devil's Core. Because I find it so funny, they put two of the most bombastic episodes right at the start of the season, and right at the start of this massive marketing push for Doctor Who. I don't know. It's a weird world, my friends. Here we go. What if the woman following Ruby is Kate Stewart? It kind of looks like her. Does it? Did you just predict? I think Kate might be in this episode. Slight spoilers. I'm not sure. Nah, that's long. That's longer hair. Unless Kate's wearing a wig. That'd be so funny if, the big resolution is just Kate being like, I tried calling you. I didn't want to, go and approach you. I had to keep a distance. I know I'm hyping the episode up for myself, but I think 73 yards could be a 10 out of 10. If it's better than Boom, then we might have just had the best 2 weeks in Doctor Who history. The weirdest part is that Disney approved those first 2 episodes being the first. That's the weirdest part. I find it so funny because Disney made some pretty good decisions. They added the snowman scene in, Church on Ruby Road. They did this extensive marketing for the new season, and they were like, yeah, those two are the ones. And if the rumor is true that they moved the Devil's Cord to the front, I find that funny that if that's a move from Disney, if anything. Oh, my goodness gracious me. My goodness. Finally, the best 2 weeks. Yeah, look, I'm so excited, guys. I'm really, really excited. Doctor Who is back. Doctor Who is back and a half. So for the last few minutes, if anyone wants to ask me a few questions that they have, if you want to ask me a question, I'm happy to answer them. But if not, thank you everyone for being here. I find it so strange doing these live streams, and they will get better. I promise. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Ask me a few questions. Pretty please. Here we go. Was Devil's Cord supposed to be a later episode? Ruby seems to know the Doctor's nature way too much. Also, her mum doesn't question the fact that she's been gone 6 months. Yeah, look, there's a lot of things, and Russell's usually good with the family dynamic stuff, but I feel like since Church on Ruby Road, we haven't had that much time to touch down with Carla and Cherry. I want to know what Carla and Cherry are up to. They're some of my favorite characters in the new era. I feel like we're going to get them later in the series. Oh, I hope that nothing bad happens to either of them. Thoughts on Moffat X-Men's Christmas special announcement? Has it been announced? I don't know if it's been announced. I think the big rumor is that it's Joy to the World. I don't think the BBC have put out anything yet, but Moffat's kind of let slip like, yeah, it's me. I'm doing it. It was rumored that he was doing Christmas before it was confirmed that he was doing episode 3 of this series. Absolutely mad. Are you going to make another song for 73 yards? Look, the idea for all of these streams was that I wanted to do a song at the end of all of the streams, but the one from last week got copyrighted. It got copyrighted, so I had to mute it. It was a beautiful rendition of Hey Jude by the Beatles. And McCartney rung me up and was like, take it down. So for this one, I was going to do the Black Eyed Peas Boom Boom Pow, and thank you to Aidan Green, who made me do some kind of royalty-free rendition of it. But for next week, I've got a song in mind that I could do, but it's just a matter of if I get copyrighted or not. That is all. Ooh, hot take from a dolphin. Here we go. Worst 2 episodes followed by the best 2 episodes. What absolute whiplash that would be. Nah, best 2 weeks in Doctor Who history is World Enough in Time and The Doctor Falls. That was a fantastic time. World Enough in Time is probably one of my favorite episodes of all time and one of the darkest episodes of all time. I hope that this episode here is as dark as World Enough in Time, but it might not be. What has been the scariest episode ever? Genuinely, probably because I was just getting into Doctor Who and I hadn't seen any trailers. I didn't know what they look like, but the Impossible Astronaut Day of the Moon, the silence scared me so much, and I thought it was such a cool concept. So that was probably the scariest episodes for me, but ever, I don't know, a lot of people go to Blink. And I remember watching that on my phone. The year would have been 2010, 2011, and I had my headphones on, I was watching it on my phone, and that jump scare where what's his name? Oh, not Larry Nightingale. Is Fate has to keep his eye on the Weeping Angel, and he turns his head and comes back, and it's right in his face. The music's perfect, the sound effects perfect, the framing's perfect. It's so well cut, and that's probably the scariest scene in Doctor Who ever for me. But yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, someone's guessed the song I was gonna make. Well done. Good job. Midnight and Turn Left is the best 2 weeks of Doctor Who. Gosh, that's a fun question. I really like that. All right. Let's see if anyone else has some questions yet. Have I recorded the podcast yet? No. If you want to send in your thoughts about Boom, the Who's There hotline is open now. You've got 24 hours to go and do that. We're recording our episode tomorrow with a special guest. Who's it gonna be? Are they Australian and ridiculously handsome? I don't know. You'll have to find out. Ever played Doctor Who Legacy? Best Doctor Who video game? No, I haven't. I have not. I've only played Lonely Assassins and the other one that came out with it. All right. Okay. Any other questions for the crisp? Look at your watch. That's on your wrist because we're going to wrap it up soon. Do you think that Shooty and Susan in the memory TARDIS? Do you think it will be, Shooty and Susan in the memory TARDIS? If not, yeah. I saw that in one of the trailers they had the memory TARDIS, so I didn't really think that was canon. It is canon, I guess. Rank all of RTD2. I did that just before, Mr. Scarlo. You gotta pay attention to these things, okay? There's that, and then we put Church on Ruby Road there. Oh, you want the other ones as well. Alright, Wild Blue Yonder, here. Giggle, here. Star Beast, here. Star Beast let me down. You let me down! But do you think betraying me... I can't remember the Capaldi quote anyway. Alright, guys. I think it's time for me to go and have a lot of water because your boy is still a little bit hungover. But thank you so much for hanging out and talking about Boom, Boom, Boom. I want Moffat in the writer's room because that was sensational. We'll see you next week where we talk about one of the spookiest episodes in Doctor Who history, 73 Yards. Is Ruby Sunday okay? Where did the Doctor go? Did the Doctor just go to the shops that was 73 yards away? We'll never, ever know. But thank you very much. My name's Crispy Pro. Please like this video and subscribe if you have not already. And we'll see you in the next one. Allons-y, baby! Leave some bennies in the chat for me, okay? Bye! Oh, that didn't work. Bye!